In lesson 15.2, we're going to be working with creating a random sample on our own using technology. We actually will do that on Monday when I'm back in class, but today we're going to work on just the independent practice. So if you will turn in your books to page 425, we're going to work through some of these independent practice questions together. So what you can do when you take a sample of something and make some take some data from that, you can actually make a prediction about what you would expect the entire amount to be. So for example, in this problem, Mari owns 3 bagel shops. Each shop sells 500 bagels per day. Mari asks her store managers to use a random sample to see how many whole wheat bagels are sold at each store each day. The results are shown in the table. So number 4 says, if you assume the samples are representative, how many whole wheat bagels are sold at each store? What we're going to have to do in each one of these is set up a proportion to solve it. So, take shop A, 50 bagels in the sample, and 10 that were purchased for whole wheat. So we're going to set up the proportion 10 over 50, set it equal to our unknown over the 500 total bagels. And we're going to solve that proportion. So if you remember, you're going to do 500 times 10, divide it by 50. And that gives you 100. So we would expect that store A, or shop A, that there would be 100 bagels sold that were whole wheat. Okay. Now we have to do the same thing for store B. This time, they took a sample of 100, and 23 of those 100 sold were whole wheat. So our proportion is going to be 23 over 100 equals an unknown amount over 500. And so we're going to solve that proportion by doing 500 times 23 divided by 100, and we get 115. So at shop B, we would expect it to be about 115. One more, shop C. And in shop C, they only took a sample of 25 bagels, and 7 of those that were sold were whole wheat. So our proportion would be 7 over 25 equals the unknown amount over 500. And so to solve that proportion, we would do 500 times 7 divided by 25. We get 140. So at shop C, we would expect it to be 140. So number 5 asks us to rank the shops in terms of how representative they are likely to be, and explain our rankings. It is more representative if more were sampled, because the larger your sample size, the more accurate your results are likely to be. So if you were going to rank these, you would say that shop B would be the most representative. Shop A would be next. And then finally shop C is the least because it had the smallest sample. Okay. And then on number 6, which sample or samples should Mari use to tell her managers how many whole wheat bagels to make each day? Well, the best one would be shop B, because it was the most representative. Okay. So now in number 7, this is a little different because it's actually, they've created a random sample, and we'll be working a little bit more with this on Monday, but we can work a little bit today with it because in a shipment of 1,000 t-shirts, there are 75 that do not meet quality standards. The store manager doesn't know this, but he always does a random sample test of each shipment. So we'll say on average 75 don't meet quality standards. So he's going to do or this table represents a random sample of 20 t-shirts out of the shipment of 1,000. So any of these numbers represent the numbers 1 to 1,000, but only 1 through 75 represents a shirt that did not meet quality standards. So we're going to go through and we're going to circle the ones that are 1 through 75, 12, and 45. Okay, so there were 2 out of 20 that did not meet quality standards. We want to know how many out of 1,000 would not meet quality standards. So we're going to solve that proportion. We're going to do 2 times 1,000 divided by 20, and that gives us 100. So in the sample, how many shirts were below standard? 2 in the sample, but we can conclude that 100 would not meet standard. Based on his random sample. You are now going to have some questions over the types of problems that we were just solving. So you'll see some where they've taken a random sample, and you'll have to answer some questions about that. And you'll probably also have one where you're going to have where a random sample was simulated, and then make some predictions and answer some questions about that.